Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into this whole finding your niche thing?
Always ready for a good deep dive.
Awesome. Well, we are checking out Omar Karbot's unpublished work, Niche Happen.
Oh, yeah. I've heard good things about
Yeah,
this.
and it's not like the usual just list your skills kind of approach.
Right.
This is way more about the problems you're actually kind of fired up to solve.
It's a fascinating approach. Carbot argues that your niche isn't like some static thing,
Right.
something you just kind of stumble upon. It's
Mhm.
something you actively cultivate over time.
Okay, so it's a journey, not like a destination.
Yeah.
I like that. But where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, Carbot lays out a 5-step framework.
Okay.
And honestly, the first step might surprise you a little bit. He says, dive headfirst into your current work, whatever it is.
Even if it's like soul-crushing cubicle life?
Yep.
How's that going to help me find my passion?
Because it's about building a foundation of experience. The more you do, even if it's not, your dream gig,
Right.
the more you expose yourself to different skills and challenges,
I see.
different ways of thinking.
Ah, so it's kind of like cross-training for your career.
Exactly.
You're building up those experience muscles, so to speak.
Exactly. Carbot calls it informed serendipity.
Okay.
It's not just luck.
Okay.
It's about putting yourself out there
Uh-huh.
and being open to those aha moments.
Okay, I'm starting to see how even a less than ideal job can be a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But what if you're between jobs or just starting out?
Well, Carbot suggests volunteering or tackling personal projects.
Okay.
Think about it. What are you naturally drawn to?
Right.
What skills do you want to develop? Those activities can provide valuable experience,
Yeah.
and they can reveal hidden talents you didn't even know you had.
So step one is all about racking up experience points, even if it's not in the perfect field.
That's right.
What about step two?
Step 2 is where things get really interesting. It's about identifying problems that resonate with you,
Okay.
things that genuinely bug you.
Okay.
Think about those times you've thought, there has to be a better way to do this.
Oh, I have that thought at least 5 times a day. Everything from that clunky coffee maker to that app that never loads properly.
And that is the starting point.
Okay.
Those frustrations, those desires for a better way, are potential seeds for your niche.
I see.
Carbot argues that if you're willing to tackle a problem,
Yeah.
even without immediate reward, it suggests genuine interest.
So basically, if I'm ranting about it for free, there's probably some passion there.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, we've got experience and problem finding. What's next?
Step 3 is about harnessing the power of reflection.
Okay.
Carbot is a big believer in writing things down.
Okay.
He wants you to journal about your experiences, your thoughts,
Yeah.
even those frustrating problems we just talked about.
So it's like we're channeling our inner journaling guru.
Yeah.
But how does scribbling in a notebook actually help?
Think of it as externalizing your thoughts.
Okay.
By getting them out of your head and onto paper or a screen, you start to see patterns,
Right.
connections you might have missed before.
That's like those brainstorming sessions where someone says something and it sparks a whole chain of ideas.
Exactly.
Except in this case, you're bouncing ideas off yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Carbot has a really cool suggestion here.
Okay.
Try chatting with AI to help brainstorm.
AI.
Yeah. He sees AI as a valuable partner in this process, helping you explore different angles and possibilities.
Whoa. AI as a brainstorming buddy. That's pretty futuristic.
It is. And he also recommends incorporating meditation
Oh, wow.
to help declutter the mind and boost creativity.
I see.
It's all about creating space for those aha moments to emerge.
Okay, so we've got experience, problem solving, and reflective journaling,
Right.
potentially with an AI sidekick.
Yep.
This is starting to feel like a recipe for success, but there's one thing that's still bugging me.
You're talking about the 10-year war.
Yes. That sounds intense. Is finding my niche really going to be a decade-long battle?
That's where step 4 comes in.
Okay.
And it's actually less about literal combat and more about embracing the long game.
Okay, so maybe not building bunkers in the backyard, but what does this 10-year war actually entail?
It's about understanding that building something meaningful, anything worthwhile, takes consistent effort over time.
Right.
Carbot is saying that we need to be prepared for challenges, setbacks, and the occasional feeling of wanting to throw in the towel.
So it's about resilience, about not giving up when things get tough.
Exactly. And Carbot gives some really practical advice
Okay.
on how to prepare for this metaphorical war.
Okay.
He says to identify your weaknesses and actively work on improving them.
So if I'm terrible at public speaking, maybe I should Join Toastmasters or take an improv class.
Exactly.
Okay.
It could also mean finding a mentor, improving your time management skills,
Right.
or even working on your physical fitness if that's holding you back.
Yeah. Wow. I'm starting to see how this all ties together. It's not just about finding your niche, it's about becoming the best version of yourself to pursue it.
And remember, this isn't about instant gratification.
Right.
It's about long-term fulfillment. So take a deep breath and get ready to embrace the journey.
Okay, deep breaths, everyone. We're in this for the long haul. But I'm already feeling more prepared, and we've only covered 4 steps. What's the final piece of this niche finding puzzle?
Step 5 is all about persistence and adaptability.
Okay.
Carbot reminds us that the road to success is rarely linear.
Mm-hmm.
There will be twists, turns, and unexpected detours along the way.
So this is where inner grit comes into play.
Absolutely. And he emphasizes that pivoting is not quitting.
Okay.
It's about being open to change
Right.
and adjusting your approach as needed.
I'm guessing this ties back to that whole niche is a journey, not a destination idea.
Exactly. The world is constantly changing,
Right.
and our interests and passions might evolve along with it.
Okay, so how do we navigate those pivots without feeling lost?
Yeah.
Or like we're failing?
That's where discernment and self-awareness come into play.
Okay.
Sometimes those obstacles are signs that we need to adjust our course,
Right.
maybe tweak our approach, or even explore a completely different direction.
So it's not about blindly clinging to our original plan,
Right.
but rather being open to the possibility that our niche might evolve as we do.
Precisely.
Mm.
Think of it as a dance between persistence and flexibility.
I like that.
We need that unwavering commitment to our goals,
Yeah.
but also the willingness to adapt and change when circumstances require it.
Okay.
And that's where Carbot's emphasis on continuous learning comes in handy.
Right. He mentioned broadening our horizons in areas like design, sales, finance, even law.
Yeah.
It felt like he was encouraging us to become jacks of all trades.
It's not necessarily about mastering every field,
Okay.
but rather about cultivating a versatile skill set
I see.
that can support you no matter where your niche journey takes you.
Right.
Think of it as building a mental toolbox.
Uh-huh.
The more diverse your tools,
Yeah.
the better equipped you'll be to handle whatever challenges or opportunities come your way.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding a job you love. It's about building a life where you're constantly learning, growing, and adapting.
And that's what makes this whole process so exciting. Your niche isn't some fixed point you reach and then just coast.
Right.
It's a dynamic, evolving expression of who you are and what you care about.
I love that. It takes the pressure off feeling like I need to have it all figured out right now.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm still wondering, how do I know when I've actually found my niche?
Right.
Is there some magical sign I should be looking for?
That's a question we all grapple with, isn't it? And while there's no flashing neon sign, there are some subtle but powerful indicators to watch for.
Ooh, do tell. I'm all ears.
First, think about that sweet spot where your passions, skills, and the needs of the world intersect. When you're operating within your niche, there's a sense of flow,
Uh-huh.
of effortlessness, even when the work is challenging.
Okay.
It feels less like a job and more like a natural extension of who you are.
So it's like that aha moment we talked about earlier, but on a much grander scale.
Right.
It's that feeling of, yes, this is where I'm meant to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And along with that flow, there's often a deep sense of fulfillment.
Okay.
You're not just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You're making a genuine contribution to the world,
Right.
whether it's on a large or small scale.
It's about finding that alignment where your unique talents and passions meet a real need in the world.
Beautifully put. And finally, I think there's an element of sustainability.
Okay.
When you've found your niche, you're energized and motivated to keep learning, growing, and evolving within that space.
Yeah.
It's not about chasing fleeting trends,
Right.
but about building something you can sustain and nurture over time.
So instead of asking, what's my niche, we should be asking, what experiences light me up? What problems am I passionate about solving? And how can I continue to learn and grow in a way that feels sustainable and fulfilling?
You nailed it. It's about shifting our focus from a destination to a journey,
Yeah.
from a fixed point to an ongoing process of exploration and discovery.
This is such a refreshing perspective. It feels empowering and exciting.
Yeah.
Even with that whole 10-year war thing looming in the background.
Right.
But before we get too carried away with the philosophical side of things, let's bring it back down to earth for a moment. What's one concrete step our listeners can take today to start exploring their potential niche?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to the very first step, in Carbot's framework. Dive into experiences.
Even if they seem totally random or unrelated to our current career aspirations.
Especially if they seem random.
Mhm.
Remember, it's all about exposing yourself to new possibilities,
Right.
uncovering hidden talents,
hmm
and opening yourself up to those aha moments. So volunteer for that project at work. Okay.
Sign up for that online course you've been eyeing.
Right.
Or even just reach out to someone in a field that piques your curiosity.
So it's all about taking action, even if it's just a small step outside our comfort zone. Because as the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And who knows, that single step might just lead you to discover a hidden passion, a unique skill,
Right.
or even an entirely new direction you never considered before.
I'm feeling inspired already, but there's still so much more to explore.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Niche Happen. We'll catch you next time for another adventure in knowledge.